Hey guys, what's going on? Today is the spring equinox at 0 degrees of Aries. Ace of Wands popped out. We're going to hold on to that. So yeah, today is March 21st. It is the spring equinox in the northern hemisphere, and the sun is at 0 degrees Aries. The moon right now is at 21 Pisces, but tomorrow on the 21st, we're going to have our first new moon in the month of March at 1 degrees Aries. And one thing I wanted to just point out real quick is Saturn is currently at 1 degrees Pisces. Saturn moved into Pisces from Aquarius not too long ago, last month, and it's at 1 degrees Pisces. And that is when, on February 20th, when we had our new moon in Pisces, that is when, well, that's when we had our new moon in Pisces, but that's where Saturn is at right now. Sorry, I'm kind of a space cadet. I'm losing light. I wanted to hurry up and get this out today for you guys because it is the equinox. Our first card is the Ace of Wands upright, though, because it jumped out as I was shuffling. But I just wanted to go over real quick. So the sun is at 0 degrees Aries. The moon is at 21 degrees Pisces. And Mercury is in Aries right now. There's a lot of fiery communication. You can feel it in the air. The warmer winds are kind of bustling up. I know a lot of the country has been kind of immersed in snow and things like that over the last couple weeks, and just weird weather patterns. But a lot of that can reflect what is going on internally in us as well, and our own weird weather patterns, so to speak. There's some major cosmic shifts going on right now, you know, as far as planetary alignments and things go. On the 23rd of March, which is later on this week, Pluto moves into Aquarius at 0 degrees Aquarius. So there's a lot of big planets on anaretic or pinnacle degrees, either 29, 0 degrees. And, you know, it can go from like 28 to around 1. You can really feel the impulse of that climax and ushering over, kind of like a wave breaking, where as soon as the wave breaks, the whole ocean is pulling that flow back in to create something new. And that wave at its crest, you could imagine that being the 29 point, that climax point, which is where Pluto is right now, 29 degrees Capricorn. And you can imagine the wave crashing over being the 0 point and the starting over of that process again. But they're all kind of in the same motion, even though they're having totally different actions. So again, Aries new moon tomorrow at 1 degrees, and today the sun is at 0 degrees Aries. So that means the beginning of our celestial or our zodiacal new year. So for a lot of people, this can feel more like the new year than January 1st. So that's kind of like our cultural construct of New Year. Me personally, I think wherever, because people, you know, are composed and comprised of different elements, and, you know, if the winter suits you, sometimes that can be your New Year. Really, wherever, either the fall equinox, spring equinox, winter solstice, summer solstice, those can be kind of pinnacle points where we can all do our quarterly check-in and then our annual check-in. So today is one of those days where we do our annual check-in. So yeah, I'm going to hurry up and do this because we're losing light. But I wish you guys a very happy spring equinox. I had a great day today, and I hope you all did as well. And let's just see what the cards have to say going into this new moon tomorrow. Ooh, Temperance, upright. And we've got the Ace of Wands was our first card. That's like our wild card that jumped out at us. So we're going to read for that as well. But Temperance is our next card, or our first card in the 3. And then we've got the Hangman reversed. That's going to be our second card. And then High Priestess reversed. So we've got the Ace of Wands. I think I accidentally shuffled it back in here. But we've got the Ace of Wands, the Temperance upright, the Hangman reversed, and the High Priestess reversed. So the Ace of Wands, I'll go ahead and, you know, access this book here because it's got such great little readings and then we'll talk about it. But Ace of Wands, very much Aries at 0 point degree energy. Very, very much. That card is Aries at 0 degrees, yeah. And then tomorrow 1 degree. So Ace of Wands, the one. So expansion and inspiration, Ace of Wands. An extremely high energy card, the Ace of Wands indicates new growth that is all around you. Your ideas and outlook will expand and creativity seems endless. This fertile time can have literal meanings. A pregnancy or a birth may be on the horizon. Though it's thrilling to embark on your new journey, your good judgment is needed more than ever. Don't rush into it. And as I was reading this, I'm thinking in my mind and in my body, like, slow down, take your time. But I'm also trying to get this out before we lose light, because it's kind of my bad that I did this so late in the day. It's like around 6:30. So yeah, the moon is at Pisces at 21 degrees at 6:30 p.m. tonight. So yeah, Ace of Wands, bursting of energy, the initiative, Aries being the ram, the infancy or the newborn in the human cycle. All these things are reverberations of the same conceptual nature of the beginning of something. When the seedling sprouts its first sprout as a new life reaching towards the sun, as seeds begin to burst through, we're starting to see some of the daffodils and things out. When I go running, I've been seeing a lot of the daffodils and a lot of the flowers on the plants bloom. It's also been kind of giving me a little bit of like, I've been waking up a couple mornings with like a little bit of a cloudy head, and I think that's just from the pollen that's in the air right now. But yeah, that can, be aware of that there are a lot of, depending on where you guys live, there are a lot of pollens and spores and things in the air right now. So as we're coming out of Pisces season and ushering in this new fire element of Aries, there is a little bit of fogginess still in the air, and that can be personified or materialized through pollen, actual pollen in the air, that can give you hay fever and allergy type symptoms, make it hard to breathe sometimes. So those are things to be mindful of. I also wanted to point out, I just tried the strawberry Olipop this week. Strawberry vanilla, it's so good. And these are not sodas. And I'm on day like 33 of no smoking cigarettes. And I quit smoking soda, I quit drinking soda like Pepsi and Coca-Cola at the end or at the middle of January, basically. And I've just been sticking with Olipops, which are just like a tonic, basically like a tonic water with herbs in it. They're amazing. But I put blackberries in this. You guys should definitely try the strawberry vanilla. And I'm not sponsored at all, so it would be great if I was, but I'm not. I just drink the heck out of these things, and I try to give people different ideas for ways they can improve their health. I do have a degree in health arts and sciences. I'd be kind of a lame duck if I didn't do my job here. So, and I put the time in and the money, so I might as well use it. Temperance is our second card. Balance, healing, and renewal are the key words, and that is the 15th card of the major arcana. And it says, a great blue heron remains calm and peaceful as she blends opposing elements of fire and water. That's like leaving Pisces of water and then embarking into Aries fire. The temperance card asks you to be the moderator, much like the heron. Focus on cooperation and compromise. If you've been excessive in one respect of your life, practice self-restraint and moderation now. You'll find a new sense of healing and balance from bringing a little harmony back into your life. So yeah, man, temperance and balance. Think that is through as we navigate and move through the different extremes and different polarities and opposing forces, like it was saying, of our own nature and of environmental natures and the changing weather and the changing seasons. Being aware of maintaining a state of homeostasis and balance internally and externally can be a huge benefit, not only to yourself, but to other people. And so, you know, maintaining a state of balance while we have the Ace of Wands kind of pushing us forward and to embark into these new territories and these new envisioned lands and all these visionary quests that we have with the Aries energy kind of bursting forth and blooming forth. Keep in mind that, you know, maintaining a state of balance and homeostasis and temperance is a huge benefit to yourself as you move through these energies. And I think the human condition likes to go to extremes, but all things in nature really thrive. And that key word of thriving, not just surviving, but thriving. And the things in nature thrive in a state of balance. Most things in nature. I'm getting ready to get off on a tangent about rhodiola because I've been taking rhodiola rosea for just energy and my ADD, ADHD. And it thrives on the top of a mountain where the climate is very extreme. And so there are those of us that really do thrive in extreme conditions. And Aries being an element and sign that is one of those signs that thrives in states of extreme conditions. You know, so we have to make space and room for that as well. But I think overall, the general populace, our general default mood and outlook and presentation and ability to express ourselves, all those things thrive in a state of balance, which are not necessarily living on an extreme end of those opposing forces or that spectrum. And it's upright, so we have clear energy to see that is a beneficial course if we choose temperance, when there are extreme natures or extreme positions that people are taking. Choosing a place of temperance and balance creates healing and renewal. So that's beautiful and perfect. And again, we've got the Ace of Wands pushing behind it, so maintaining balance with the force of that Ace of Wands and the force of that Aries at 0 point sun and the force of the approach of the new moon tomorrow at Aries 1 degree and the force of the spring equinox occurring today where the light and the dark are in equal balance with the light gaining force. Temperance is really where it's at. As a Libra rising, I strive for many different states of homeostasis at any given point. The Hangman reversed. So the Hangman, that's our next card, and the Hangman reversed is really immediately telling me that decisions are being made. So that state of I don't know or things waiting in balance without any real clear decisions behind them, the Hangman reverse tells us the opposite is true, that decisions have been made. It doesn't necessarily mean that actions have been taken, but maybe internal decision making is what's occurring with the Hangman reversed. So with the reversed energy, we can say that the energy of the Hangman and the observer position is, I've got to be careful with her so she doesn't spill those flowers. I might actually pick those up real quick. Hold on 1 second. But the Hangman reversed is telling us that we are not in a state of pure observation. We are in a state of potential action as well. But so there's something blocking our ability, and everyone knows Miss Soleil, Miss Curie's cat over here. So there's something blocking our ability to be in that pure observing state. Because we kind of need, with the force of all these blossoming energies and the timing of of our external environment and the natural world, we might feel that maintaining space, maintaining our full consciousness in the observer space is not entirely what we want and not entirely how we want to go about things. But let me read from the book real quick. And I really am losing the light here, so I've got to hurry up. Let me get this card and read it to you real quick. So Hangman energy, observer energy, is somewhat either being blocked or misused or not able to stay in its um, what is that word? Equanimity. I think I fumbled that, but um, in that pure state of balance, there might be a little bit too much propulsion and momentum behind to stay in a pure state of observation right now. So there is some kind of inhibition or misuse or malalignment or lack of clarity around sacrifice and letting go, which is the Hangman, and that is the 12th card of the major arcana. Many people talk about the act of letting go, but what does it really mean? How do you achieve it? The Hangman has all the answers. He's the master of non-attachment. This card implies there's a sacrifice or a difficult or painful situation coming up in your life. Though you naturally want to resist and struggle through it, be more like the Hangman. Find stillness, open your eyes, and use this new perspective to learn something. You're stuck here either way. So the Hangman reverse could insinuate that we're not stuck either way, that we do have options, and that we're aware of those options so that we can't maintain our state in, she is about to knock those flowers over. We cannot maintain our state in quiet observation and quiet non-detachment. So let's not knock the flowers over, por favor. Thank you, ma'am. So yeah, she's a trip, man. It's a blast living with a little Black Panther, let me tell you. I mean that wholeheartedly and sincerely. But the Hangman is saying that we are having issues with letting go, or we don't feel that it's time, or we don't have all the information, or we have in certain respects, maybe emotionally, but maybe not necessarily socially, or internally, or even through outside action. So the reversed Hangman is something to say that there is almost a too much of abundance of energy with the Ace of Wands, even though we're maintaining that balanced state, for us to be completely non-attached or completely in an observer state. And then we also got the High Priestess reversed. And so the first thing that comes to mind, because I've had some experiences of this week that were like, when that Mars, when the Mercury square Mars happened this week, like people were spicy AF. And it was really unpleasant to watch people be so ungraceful and lack so much poise and really just kind of go off half-cocked or, lacking facts and not really making much sense, but like going on the attack with different people. And I experienced that personally. So the High Priestess reversed reminds me of that situation, because it seemed like there was an abundance of feminine energy in that personal situation that I dealt with that was ready to go on the attack without much of the facts. Like maybe there was some self-hate that was stirred inside that was then projected on its external world, and wanting to then attack what was then projected externally. And by the way, the Vikings had locks like long before salt water is what creates locked hair. So the Vikings, the Caucasian Vikings, had locks, prior to the slavery and, other cultures coming over and being in the Caribbean and, doing their hairstyle. This is not just an African American hairstyle is what I'm getting at. And really, like, I can't even, I'm not going to go there, but I am going to say that it mirrored that the situation that I dealt with, where people attacking me saying that I'm not allowed to have this hairstyle that I've had since 2003, because they're, at their salons, and they're, getting their nails done, and they're shaving their head bald to put on fake other people's hair and fake hair, but I'm not allowed to understand, Scandinavian history and, you know, how these form, even though I've been wearing them for 20 years. So anyways, long story is that seems like how the high priestess can be reversed and taking divine concepts and manipulating them to either bully or go on the attack or manipulate divine concepts, basically, like the relationship I have with my own hair. You know, like for the most part, I let people's words precede them. I try not to look at their pictures and things because there's too much of this world that is deceived by external appearances, and I'm a soul-based babe, and I'd like to read souls before I get convoluted by imagery. And I ideally would like the internal imagery to be or the external imagery to be a manifestation of the internal imagery and not just a fake facade that's going to leave everyone unsatisfied, you know? So High Priestess reverse, again, this energy is either misused or, you know, kind of been made in a subversive sense, or just like the Hangman reverse, not a clear path to our divine higher wisdom. And so basically what this is saying is, with all this Aries energy coming in, yes, there's a lot of bad bitch energy coming in, but also, you know, there's a lot of women not really in their divine feminine and using situations and you know, misunderstandings and things to kind of go on the attack with one another. And we should be aware of that and maybe trying to not lean into that as much as possible. And so the High Priestess is mystery and psychic wisdom. And again, as I read this, remember, you know, we're trying to get to this energy. We're trying to get to the energy of the card upright, and currently it was pulled reversed. So the High Priestess sits in stillness. From there, she's able to access realms others pass by without noticing, the vast world of intuition, dreams, and mystery. She uses silence and non-action to harness this power. Sometimes this card appears to remind you to listen more closely to the voice within. Other times it's a sign to look past the obvious, to find what's being kept secret or hidden within a given situation, acknowledging the shadows. So, you know, given that scenario and that little write-up about it, maybe things that were in the shadows are no longer in the shadows. Maybe there's a clearing of air with all this new Aries energy coming through, because air fuels fire and air gives life to fire. So maybe this High Priestess reversed is kind of asking us to look where we can position our feminine and our divine feminine energy in a more upright sense, and not make our expression a competition between our divine masculine and our divine feminine, and the lower vibrations of both of those, you know, polarities within us, not allowing those lower vibratory frequencies of feminine energy and masculine energy to be projected outside of us and putting us on the attack then with other people. Maybe it's giving us a chance to look at those energies within ourselves, so that we don't have to go through these uncomfortable situations with others, and we don't have to go through the misunderstandings that can bring a lot of pain and confusion. And with all this new Aries energy coming in, you know, fun times, beautiful times, light and love are ahead. And so, you know, we don't want to attach too much convoluted, there are positives and negatives to everything. So we don't want the convoluted or the hysterical emotional energies of what the High Priestess reverse can represent getting the best of us in any circumstance, especially in social situations, so that we can have a clear channel to the energies ahead. But I do, please remember that I said that Saturn is now at the first degree of Pisces, which is where on February 20th, where our last new moon was in Pisces. So what was going on around February 20th, there is going to be, when we look at our emotional nature around February 20th during the Pisces full moon, Saturn is now saying, have you leveled up from that time? Have you learned? Have you incorporated and kind of recalibrated some of that emotional wisdom and some of that emotional instinct internally? And have you learned that doing whatever you want just because you want to do it doesn't always give you the best outcome, doesn't always feel the best, and is it really necessary? I know that's hard with all this Aries energy, because that the infantile impetus and drive and an initiatory drive and momentum behind it is telling us, yes, action at all costs. But have we incorporated the wisdom from our previous Pisces season, Saturn now being at that 1 degree, of all the emotions that we were kind of swimming through at the Pisces new moon on February 20th? So that's what tomorrow's new moon in Aries at 1 degree is asking, and that's what Saturn is asking. And with Capricorn with Pluto being at the 29th degree of Capricorn, getting ready to move into an air sign, Aquarius, at 0 degrees, you might want to kind of look to see where that 29 degree Capricorn is in your chart, and that might play, that point of Pluto right now might also play in to where you were February 20th at the Pisces new moon, and where Saturn is currently and tomorrow with the Aries new moon at 1 degree, having Saturn being on that Pisces new moon point. Okay, chakra cards real quick. I'm losing light. Oh, trickery. Heart chakra. That can cause pain to the heart. Trickery is not fun. Trickery is no good. But we are living in a world, the banking crisis has happened since the last new moon in Pisces. Saturn is really giving a stern eye to that. And, with Pluto being at 29 degrees of Capricorn, getting ready to move into Aquarius on the 23rd of March, we need to look at where in our lives are we being tricked or played with, or where the narrative is being tweaked and manipulated so that attacks can occur, bullying can occur, where trickery is being played, basically. So that's the card that was pulled for the chakra cards. It is at green at heart level. And the imagery says, or the story goes, Kelly the Green Dragon. And it was pulled up right. Kelly the Green Dragon. The tempter is as guilty as the thief. Interesting. Kelly the Green Dragon has one jumbo-sized acorn to get him through the winter. Squirrel spies the huge acorn, and he decides he just has to have it to win the forest's annual acorn contest. To tempt Kelly, he fills the basket with rocks and scatters the tiny acorns he has collected on top. Kelly feels the weight of the basket and steals it, allowing Squirrel to grab the single acorn. But they both lose. Kelly now has less food, and the squirrel is disqualified from the contest for cheating. Interesting. Okay, so let's kind of feel that out for the week ahead and for this Aries new moon. And it says the inspiration. During trying times, things might be easier for you if you ask for help. Don't be disappointed if assistance does not come from the place you expect. The personal inquiry. Am I afraid to tell the truth? How does that fear make me manipulate others? What do I really need to say? And the key ideas are dance of scarcity, coveting possessions, vulnerable heart, self-honesty, accusing others, hidden motives. Keywords are vision, honesty, and greed. And the meditation is, who do you identify with? The squirrel, the trickster, or Kelly, the greedy dragon? When you close your eyes, which one comes forward? Whoever it is, ask him, what is he afraid of? Listen, and then ask the great spirits for guidance. Their guidance may come during your meditation or at a later time. So the interesting part of this card is, even though there's trickery occurring, it's occurring on both sides. The squirrel wants the single acorn by putting rocks in the bottom of his basket and covering the top with small acorns, and the dragon wants to just steal the basket of acorns out from under him regardless. So both of these parties have ill intentions towards one another, or to get what they want. Maybe not necessarily towards one another, but to get what they want. And how that affects the heart, especially being green, green and greedy. You know, the green-eyed monster is called that for a reason. So you know, greed and money interfering with principles and values and morality. Envy, coveting possessions of others, coveting other people's relationships, other people's friendships, other people's family, other people's achievements, you know, hating on others because of other people's achievements. I got hated on this week because I did not get my hair done at a salon, because I've had them for 20 years and I didn't just go and get them done at a salon. I got like reamed out. Like, that is greed. That is like a form of jealousy or envy, or you know, just very low vibrational human interaction that's completely, at the end of the day, it's unnecessary for everyone, you know. And I just encourage people, you know, I believe that my hair is more character because I don't get my things done at the salon. So yeah, my locks, I don't get my locks done at the salon. So anyways, happy spring equinox, everyone. Happy March 20th, 2023. I'm sorry the lighting is so poor, but I got my light from another lamp, so I'm happy about that. So yeah, happy spring equinox, everyone. Happy new moon tomorrow in Aries at 1 degree. Keep in mind that Saturn is at the 1 degree of Pisces, where we were before. I already said all that. So just, you know, think about where you were emotionally during the last new moon in Pisces, and how Pluto is affecting that 29th degree in your chart at Capricorn, getting ready to go into Aquarius, and maybe use some of the things that we uncovered in this reading to kind of reflect on that time period. So I love you guys, and I'm sorry this was so long, but I hope you have a beautiful night. Thank you.